A good resume outlines what your objectives are and what you hope to achieve throughout your career in a short, concise paragraph, and then goes on to outline what your qualifications are, what your experience is, and also might include a couple of references at the end as well. The key thing that an employer would look for in a resume, from my experience, would be what the key skills and experience are that you have as a prospective job candidate that are relevant to the position that you're applying for. It's easy to include all sorts of skills and experience that you might have gained, but the important thing is to make sure that they're relevant, they relate specifically to that position that you're applying for. Quite often we'll see that resumes can be very long. They could be pages and pages and pages long. And the important thing that I would highlight is that employers quite often want to make sure that resumes aren't too long to look at, because they quite often have busy schedules and won't have the time to spend going through pages of information, a lot of which might not be relevant to the position that you're applying for. So my advice to you would be to make sure that the information that you include is relevant and to keep it short and concise. Sometimes you'll see with resumes that an email address for the applicant might be included, and it might be a very unprofessional sounding email address with a nickname or a funny sounding name or something like that. So my advice would be to make sure with your email address that you include at the top of the resume, to make sure that it sounds professional, because that ensures that you're giving a professional image to your employer for the job that you're applying for. The layout of a resume is very important because you want to make sure that it looks professional and it's easy to read. So some of the points I would give are to make sure that the font you're using is an easy to read font, ensuring that you use clear, concise bullet points within the resume, also making sure that there's enough spacing between the lines, because all of that ensures that your resume is clear, it's concise, and importantly that it's easy to read for the employer. It's also important to ensure that when you're outlining the professional experience that you have, that you also highlight what your key achievements and also your key responsibilities have been, because that demonstrates what your skills and your knowledge are to your prospective employer. Another point that I would make is it's important to ensure that you list your most recent position at the top, because again that helps demonstrate the position that you've been in most recently, and again what your skills have been recently as well. Some other things that you could include in a resume are possibly if you do any volunteering work within the community. That's always a great thing to include. It's also worth including any professional memberships you have with professional organisations within your particular field of practice. They really are really good things to include in a resume that will show your employer that you're involved with the community, or also that you're involved with your professional organisations and are contributing to the profession as a whole.